Johannesburg-born Cameron Modisane has become the first black person to obtain an accounting PhD under the age of 35. Modisane, who hails from KwaThema in the East Rand, completed his Doctor of Philosophy at the Northwest University and is now an associate professor at UNISA. The 35-year-old is also a board of director for the Information Systems Audit and Control Association. To talk about this achievement and more, he joins us now in studio. That's such an incredible list of accomplishments for someone as young as you are. I'm not going to say as old as you are, as young as you are. So tell us, when did you start studying and how long have you been studying for?
I think my passion for accounting started in high school, at Springs Boys High School. And then after that, I went to university at the University of Pretoria. I've been studying for the past 10 years after matric, and it's been, studying, till I got to this level.
So a lot of people who attempt their doctoral have to at some stage stop studying full-time to try and fund their degrees, which is why it often takes so long. You've managed to do it in just 10 years, which is truly phenomenal. How have you done that?
I was working and studying, I come from the audit profession, working for an accounting firm. So it was more of studying late at night, and I got bursaries throughout my life. Even for my PhD, I got a bursary as well. I think what helped was the fact that I was quite dedicated, and it helped me to actually get funding for my studies.
So that must have taken a lot of sacrifice. If you're working during the day, you're studying at night, don't you feel you missed out on some of the things that other people in their 30s would have been doing while you were hitting the books? Yeah,
I think I missed out, but I think I've always been a bookworm. I'm a loner. I live alone. I don't party much. I don't drink. So I think it helped me to, because I think I've always been focused. I've always had a passion for education, and that's what actually helped me to get to this level.
Some people are students for life. Do you think you're going to be pursuing other qualifications after this?
Most definitely. Actually, I'm actually thinking of enrolling for a master's at Oxford probably next year or so. I think probably I'm going to be studying for all my life. I'm also a researcher as well. So I think it's within me. If the moment it's like an adrenaline rush. The moment you finish something, you want to start something else. So I think it's always been with me like that.
There's a strong focus in South Africa at the moment for young black professionals like yourselves to mentor young people following in their footsteps, to have that exchange of knowledge, and not just knowledge, but tips. Every industry has pitfalls. Being passionate about education, and as a student, are you also passionate about passing on your knowledge?
Of course I am passionate. I've mentored quite a number of young people as well. Even currently I'm mentoring a couple of young people. Especially I've got a passion for young people in the townships. I normally help them in terms of registration, in terms of them getting funding, etc., with the NAFSAS application. So I've always had a passion because I come from the township as well. And I feel that education is the ultimate equalizer for everyone. So if you all get a chance because I come from poverty, and now I'm part of the middle class. And that's only happened through education. So yes.
A lot of young people work incredibly hard to pursue a degree despite very challenging circumstances. You talk about pursuing a degree while coming from the township. What's your message to them to keep at it? Because, and just coming from a year where a lot of people have had very difficult access to continued studies amid the pandemic, what would you say to them to motivate them to just keep at it?
I think the key thing is about focus. You need to be focused, you need to be driven. You need to be driven by the ultimate goal in terms of what you want to achieve in life. Because once you actually, there's nothing as beautiful as your mom coming to you and saying, I'm proud of you, my son, after you have achieved and you ultimately a doctor, a CA, or whatever it is. So it's always a good thing to make your parents proud, even though it might be a challenge, but it is possible. And also, I know a lot of young people struggle with funding, but there are companies, there are some big corporates out there who are willing to fund young people, but it's all about getting the good marks and showing that you're actually willing to work hard and put in the effort. That's what I did throughout my career.
How do young people who've got the marks, who've been dedicated, have put in the hard work, gain access to those companies? Because that's often where a lot of the challenge lies. You've got your marks certificate, you've even put together a brief CV if you've had any work experience, but getting access to those companies who are looking to fund young people's studies, that's a major challenge for many.
I think the starting point is make sure that you actually get the good marks and you also apply at university. Thereafter, find young people like myself, who can mentor you and who can give you, who can share that company information around bursaries. There's actually a number of companies out there who are actually looking to find young people, just that people some of them are not necessarily willing or willing to actually put in the hard work and actually achieve. Yeah.
Let's talk about your field, accounting. What does someone with a doctoral in accounting essentially do? You have gone past CA, past auditor. How do you want to try and influence that sector?
I think for me, it's about my passion right now is about it's around ethics. There's been a lot of talks around ethics for accountants. So I feel once people get to a certain level, it's quite important that they actually study further and acquire more degrees, because it helps you in terms of broadening your knowledge, because things change, standards change. So it's quite important to keep abreast. With me, how I got to this level, I think I've always been a bookworm. It's all about reading and writing. I've got a passion for writing as well. So that's why it was quite easy for me to get to this level. And my area of research is around the impact of IT around the accounting and audit profession, and how does that actually impact ultimately the work that we do as accountants, because we're living in a digital world. So that's what my area of research is mainly about.
So I'm going to ask you a difficult question here,
Sure.
and please feel free to tell me if you haven't been watching State Capture this weekend, but I hope you have been, because the issue you bring up around ethics and accounting has been in the spotlight this weekend, with Vice Chair of SAAT and Auditor and CA Yake Kwinana testifying at the State Capture. What do you think needs to happen to achieve that exceptionally high level of ethics in accounting that we want to see, especially at state-owned enterprises?
I think the key thing, as I said to you, is the fact that we need to go back as professionals. We need to go back to the code of ethics. We're all part of a number of professional bodies, such as the Institute of Internal Auditors, SAICA, etc. So it's quite important that we always go back to those code of ethics that we actually should abide by from our professional bodies, and to maintain high level of ethics, because as professionals, as academics as well, it's quite important that we show that the work that we do is always above reproach. So it's quite important for us and to maintain the stature of the profession as well.
Do you feel that the ethics component of the course material for accountants, chartered accountants and auditors is highlighted enough to students? Or is that sort of, oh, well, Ethics 101, let's rush through that part of the course? Because we're seeing a huge lack of ethical behavior.
I think the problem is that with one of with the courses, that in most cases, probably we do one module throughout our studies around business ethics, etc. And I know currently I'm actually busy with the development of a new master's program that will focus also on professional accounting as well, to say around corporate governance, around ethics. So it's quite important that, even after you've got your CA, you've got your CIA, you've got your CISA, or whatever it is, it's quite important that you study further and you learn all these case studies to learn the pitfalls and around business ethics as well. So it's quite important that people actually apply themselves and actually walk the talk. It's quite important for us as professionals.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. I'm sure you are an inspirational to thousands of young South Africans out there looking to make their way in the profession. That was Dr. and Professor Cameron Modisane, the first black person to obtain an accounting PhD under the age of 35 at that. We'll have